Greetings and welcome. I'm Michael Dennis. I'm the host of the Michael Dennis Show, and greetings and welcome back to the. For those of you who are uninitiated, for those of you out there who are my mouth. Greetings and welcome back to the Michael Dennis Show. I am Michael Dennis. For the uninitiated, greetings and welcome. Uh, greetings. Oh my God, I can't even get the word. Greetings and welcome. Greetings and welcome back to the Michael Dennis Show. I'm Michael Dennis. This is the sixth time I've tried to do this introduction. My words are all stuck in the back of my head and in the back of my throat this morning. For the uninitiated out there, for my midlife crisis, instead of getting a Corvette or a Mistress, I'm starting a YouTube channel. So we'll see which of those cost me more in the long run. Today's episode is going to be an episode of Parents Island. I haven't done an episode in a couple days, not nearly as much as I wanted to, because I've been a parent, and I just wanted to talk about parent junk today, and just how difficult kids make everything. And like I said, I haven't been able to crank out some content. I haven't been able to do some writing. I haven't been able to do a lot of things that I personally have wanted to do this week. And I know I'm not alone. I know that that's certainly not new. I have two girls, the age 2 and 4, and they're both at a very needy age, and they're at that age where they constantly not only need to be around me and their mother, but they want to, and it's a constant pull, and it's a constant. I hate to use the word drag because it's not always a drag, but they are tethered to you at all times, and making things quite difficult. This week they just made it was just one of those weeks where everything felt extra difficult, and it was. And I want to go back to Monday night. So Monday night, excuse me, we had scheduled Jesus. We had scheduled a few months back a family photo session with a local photographer. We haven't taken family photos in a long time. We figured it was due. Jenny and I have each lost a little bit of weight, so we're like, okay, let's go take some family photos. So we signed up for those a couple of months ago. We signed up for them to be taken at dusk, so right when the sun goes down. So when we first booked this, it was the spring, and I didn't think that far ahead, and neither did Jenny. And we come to find out end of last week, that our dusk family photo sessions were scheduled for 8:30 on Monday night, which just filled me with so much dread and so much just anticipation and annoyance. And there was no part of me that was looking forward to that, just because for our kids and for us, the routine is our Bible. We go by the routine. I had a friend ask me a few years ago who has kids a similar age, like, hey, do you guys have a routine at bedtime? What do you guys do? Our entire life is routine. That, in the leading up to bedtime around 6:30, 7 o'clock, we have a snack. We watch Daniel Tiger, something that's very soothing. We then go upstairs, do our bath, do our bedtime stories, and then we put the girls to sleep. So immediately, my first thoughts about that Monday night session was doing the math in my head and thinking, even if everything goes well, I'm getting them to bed 2.5 hours later than we normally do. If this thing goes well, we'll get out of there around 9 o'clock, drive home, calm them down, get them into bed. It's gonna be 9:30, 10 o'clock before we ever get them to sleep. So I was just filled with dread about that all weekend last week, and most of the day through Monday. Come Monday morning, the weather report was really bad around here for the Cincinnati area. I remember I just kept checking the weather app on my phone and the map, because it was supposed to rain between 7 and 10, and there might be a chance that it was canceled or rescheduled. Long story short, it was. The rain really didn't show up, and it wasn't that bad on Monday night. But in the same way, like, if you go to work, if you have a job and you don't get paid if you don't go to work, like if you work live events or you work construction or something like that, and something happens and you can't have that work day, you don't get paid for that work day. You just get sent home. And I remember when I had those kinds of jobs, on the days that would happen, even though I was broke and I needed the money and I needed the job, when those days came up, I was just so happy to go home and do nothing. I didn't even care that I didn't get paid. I'm just like, oh, thank God. Thank God I have an excuse not to go do that today. And that's really how I felt about the photography session on Monday night. It got canceled. It got moved to next Thursday night. I know it's going to be the same exact thing. It's going to be 8:30 p.m. I'm still going to dread it all week, but I won't care. Whatever. Maybe I'll get rained out of that one too, and we'll keep kicking the can down the road until we can have this dusk photo session at 7:30 p.m. sometime in the middle of October. That's what I'm hoping for. But just the girls and the schedule and everything compounding in on itself, it was very difficult. They made it very difficult. They made Mondays very difficult. The other thing that's made it very difficult for me this week is to go see Oppenheimer. I've been trying to go find some time to go see Oppenheimer, and I was going to go at night this week, Friday or Saturday night, but that just didn't work out. I'm not going to be able to get away because the only IMAX around here in Northern Kentucky is showing it at 6:30 p.m., which is right at bedtime, and then again at 10:30 p.m., which I will not see the end of that movie. I've not seen I've seen midnight like twice in the last 3 calendar years, and that was like one time because I was out partying. The one time I've seen midnight in the last couple of years was when I went to Tampa to visit my buddies, and we were up for 2 days partying. But aside from that, we don't stay up that late. I'm in bed by 10:15, 10:30 every night. So not going to be able to see Oppenheimer. And then thought about going to see it Saturday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. We're going to do it in the afternoon. We're going to ask my mom to watch the girls, but my mom's already watching the girls for a little bit today while I do some work, making some stupid video for the internet. And I don't want to ask her 2 days in a row because I feel weird asking people to do things for me. And I also don't want to hire a babysitter because that's for a 3-hour movie. That's $15 a piece. It's going to be $50 on top of my tickets to see Oppenheimer. It's very difficult. It's making things very, very difficult for me. These girls are making everything difficult for me this week. What else did I have in my notes here? They make it difficult to go to work. On certain days, one of them goes to summer camp and the other goes to visit my mom. And then we switch those 2 days. Well, our youngest likes going to camp and doesn't like when she's not the one that goes to camp. So we have to take 2 separate cars to take one to camp and one to Mimi's house. So there's no cross-contamination because we don't want the youngest going to camp, seeing her sister go, and then there's a meltdown. And then da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So they make everything difficult this week. That reminds me of something else this week that did make difficult, and maybe that's why I'm dragging so much ass here today. It was on Tuesday night, I think it was. Yeah, Tuesday night. I went down to the basement to check on some laundry right after we got the girls to bed around 8 o'clock. We were having this big torrential downpour. The downpour that happened on Monday night arrived on Tuesday night, I suppose. And as I'm going down the stairs to our basement, there's at the foot of the landing, there's linoleum tile that goes into the bathroom, and you go left to go around the corner to like the playroom and laundry and stuff. As I'm coming down those stairs, I look down and I see that the linoleum is extra shiny and it's moving. It's moving. And immediately I'm thinking, great, we have a leak. Something busted. A pipe busted. We have a leak. Sometimes we have a leak in the front of the house when it rains really bad. And this was the worst one we ever had. Long story short, there was like 1.5 inches of standing water in the front part of our basement. At one point, I'm down there just bailing water into buckets, trying to get it out, and Jenny's standing behind me, and she's saying stuff like, "It just keeps coming. We can't even make a dent in it. There's no matter how much we soak up, there's still more of it that keeps coming out." And I remember just thinking like myself, that's the most no shit comment I've heard in a long time, but also you're right. And this just sucks. So I started bailing, found it about 10:30, or I'm sorry, I found it about 8 o'clock, started bailing water. Luckily, one of my neighbors had a wet dry vac that we were able to go borrow, and I was able to suck a lot of it up, and it did bleed back into some other areas of our garage or our basement. But that kept me up till 11 o'clock. I was down there bailing water, and I felt like that scene in Master and Commander where they get attacked, and at the one point the captain goes down to the ship, and the guy's just like, "We're holding steady. We're not sinking anymore." And I both understand. I both understood and related to the captain in that scenario, and I also understood and related to the the gentleman bailing water in that scenario. That's really where I felt I was. I was the captain of a sinking ship. The other thing I thought about while I was bailing water down there was, oh, thank God the girls, the girls woke up, especially our oldest, to come downstairs or hang out. She's 4. She sometimes wants to stay up late. Sometimes she does, won't go to sleep. My first thought was, if she comes downstairs this morning, if she comes downstairs tonight, I'm sorry, tonight, while I'm bailing this water, I'm going to be like, hey, you want to see what adults do at night? You want to see what we're doing at night? This is what we're doing at night. 3 nights a year, something like this happens, and dad has to do this. So if you want to stay up and you want to be a big girl, go put on your rain boots and get down here and grab a bucket and start hauling. Start shoveling water, honey. That was my plan. And I told her about it the next morning, that if she had come